How good a player is Mason Mount? The reason I ask that, whenever you and I talk to other players off air, like for example, say Jack Wilshere, they tell us how unbelievable a player Mason Mount is. So all those people can't be wrong. What do you make of Mason Mount, the player?
I think he's a very good player. I think you can't say that. I mean, I watched him firsthand at Derby. Spent a lot of time down there, watched him a lot, developing into a really good player. We know he had that season at Vitesse where he was incredible. But now I think he's a proven Premier League player, Champions League winner. I look at him and think, he's not like you know, you're looking for that X factor where someone's got that little bit of spark where Maddison, Cruyff turns, a little outside of the boot.
Yeah.
I don't think he's that kind of stardust. But I think he's a very good movable player that won't let you down. Like, if you ask him to go out on that pitch and do a job...
Like a Lampard.
Yeah, and go out and do a job for you, I think he'll do it. And I think that's why so many top teams are going to be in for him, because I don't think he'll shirk responsibility. Yes, his form this season hasn't been great. 3 goals, has rarely played, other than last season where he had, 11 goals, 10 assists. I like him. But do you remember that period as well where people were quite unkind to him because they were talking about Gareth? He was Gareth's son and he was Lampard's son.
Yeah, very unkind.
But I always think to myself, when managers keep picking you, doesn't matter who they are, but they keep picking. The new manager comes in, they pick you. New manager comes, they keep picking you. That tells you all you need to know.
At club level?
At club level.
Okay, because otherwise it goes against what you were saying about England. Yeah. Other players that play in that position in the Premier League that we're familiar with, right? Odegaard?
Yeah, Odegaard's had a much better season than him.
Okay. I'm going to stick Gundogan in there. Obviously, Kevin De Bruyne is the main...
Well, they play like 2 10s, didn't they? It's kind of... Both of them, I mean, De Bruyne and Gundogan are both better than him.
Okay. Bruno?
See, if you look at stats-wise, Bruno's up there. Since he come to the Premier League, he's right up there.
Yeah. The reason I asked that, he's linked to Man United, right? Mm-hmm. So does he sit a little bit deeper and maybe play the Christian Eriksen role if he were to go to Manchester?
Yeah, or maybe him and Casemiro can sit on his own, and maybe them two can kind of bomb forward. But like, I think he gets into any top team squad. I'm not saying he starts for every team, because I don't think he does. But I think at a better price, because I'm not paying 80 million for no player with 1 year left on their contract. Especially when this season they've got 3 goals and 2 assists.
But has he got... I mean, listen, you would have played in teams that were just absolutely buzzing and flying, and you would have played in teams the complete opposite, which is a bit where Chelsea are. They've had an awful season by their high levels. If you're a very, very good player and you're playing in a team and nothing's clicking for anyone, is it much more difficult to get yourself going?
No, but you say that, but then look at Tottenham, Kane. They have been awful this season, Tottenham, haven't they? Been all over the place. You wouldn't say awful, but they've been so inconsistent. He's been the one consistent, hasn't he? Kane, always scoring, don't let his standards drop. I think even if you're... Okay, another classic example. Chelsea, bit all over the place. Thiago Silva, doesn't let his standards drop. Keeps it going. Yeah. So I think once you get an opportunity, you have to keep it going. But I like Mason Mount, and I think Andy Jacobs was saying it earlier, that there's a load of players he'd rather see go before him. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that, because I think
a lot of Chelsea fans would.
He won't let you down. Go and then just goes, you know what? Nah. Doesn't try it. He'll always put a shift in it. He'll always work. Even if things are not going well, he'll still dig in.
We'll come back to this conversation in one sec. Just a bit of breaking news from the world of boxing. The rematch between Liam Smith and Chris Eubank Jr. has been postponed. That's for a second time. The pair, they were scheduled to clash on July the 1st, which was going to be live on talkSPORT in Manchester. Savannah Marshall's challenge for the Undisputed World title will still go ahead on talkSPORT that night. We'll get more on all of this next, actually, with Spencer Oliver. So boxing chat in just a moment. That rematch with Liam Smith and Chris Eubank Jr. has been postponed, for the second time. More on that with Spencer Oliver in a moment. Let's carry on talking about Mason Mount. So if United were to get him, would that appease the United fans? Would they be happy? Is he the type of name that they should be looking at to get to the next level coming in?
Do you know what? I almost feel like, and again, it's a little bit unfair with Mason Mount. It's like, if Manchester United get him, I don't think they'd be like, oh, wow, we've got Mason Mount, until they maybe see him play and they go, do you know what?
I'd be very excited.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not like, okay, if Maddison came there, you're like, whoa, aren't you?
Yeah, but Maddison plays a little bit further forward, right? So if Maddison come in, you'd question Bruno. I know what you're saying, but I just think you've got more options if you've got Mason Mount coming in.
If he came to Arsenal, Mason Mount, I wouldn't be like, oh my goodness, wow, we've got Mason Mount. But watching him play probably week in, week out, I'd probably appreciate him more, because he's a very, very good player. But people want like splash names, don't they? They want the names where it's like a superstar name. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
if you found out Gundogan was going to Man United, you'd go, wow.
Yes, I would. But what you don't want is superstars the other end. Like, for argument's sake, I know they're different players. I get that, but from a superstar perspective, and players that could come in and ruin the great camaraderie that you've got in the dressing room, I'd rather have Mason Mount coming into my dressing room than Neymar. Yeah,
and I 100% totally agree with that. Even though Neymar's a better player, I think Mason Mount would be a better fit in and around the dressing room. Never gives you any problems. You know exactly what you're getting. You haven't got to worry about I don't know, on a Friday night, is my phone going to ring because Mason Mount's in trouble again? You ain't got to worry about any of that because he's a model professional. People that I know that know him and watching him at Derby, always trying to make himself better, always available. Do you know what I mean? Always, he's got a good character, good nature.
If you were to go to Man United, step up, right? Chelsea at Man United, step up.
Yeah, this season because of where they are, but maybe not in previous seasons.
No, but from now going forward.
Yeah, but listen, Chelsea will be back. Don't worry about that.
I know that.
They get a proper manager in and they trim the squad. They'll be back.
Would you put Mason Mount in maybe your top 5 players in that position? I mentioned Gundogan, Maddison, Bruno, Odegaard, and Kevin De Bruyne. That's 5 already.
Yeah, because a lot of teams don't play with number 10s anymore, do they?
No.
So that's the point. You play with a holder, and then you've got the 2, the 8, or the 6, or whatever it is. But in terms of that number 10, and I don't think he's a true number 10, but he can play in that role. I think I'd probably put him in there.
Give me a year left on his deal. Give me a price for him.
40 million.
Yeah, I think so. In his pomp with 3 years, 4 years, how much you paying?
Then he's young, he's English, so it's going to be 70, 80 million, isn't it?
Yeah.
But not 80 million for 1 year less than his contract.
Yeah. Do you think all Chelsea fans would be gutted?
Well, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Would you rather play with 1 year left on their contract, 100 million for Kane with 1 year left on his deal, or 80 for Mount? 1 year.
Yeah, Kane.
Exactly. So you'd rather put the extra money in.
So going back to what you just said then about Kane, 100 million for 1 year.
I think it's too much. But look at his output every single year.
You're getting it now, aren't you?
And you're getting it every year. He's got
there's no resale value in that.
He's got 28 goals this season, and no one's even whispered about it.
I know. I just think 100 million for a player who's 29, he's got a year left. You're getting for free next year.
Yeah, but once he goes for a free, you risk out up against other teams.
I know. 100. Would you love Harry Kane, right?
Yeah.
And he's much better, obviously, than anything you've got.
Yep.
How would you feel if Arsenal paid 100 million for, not him, because you might say the Spurs connection, for a player like him?
Oh, no, even him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll take it. 1 year. Do you know what?
How would you? 100 million for 1 year?
I know what I'm getting. I'm getting 20 goals a season for the next 3 years. Guaranteed.
Yeah. Okay.
talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.